My name's David, and the Chronological Bible reading for September 14th is Daniel, chapters 1 through 3. Daniel 1 begins in the year 603, give or take a couple, when Daniel and hundreds or thousands of others, including Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, are sent off. They are given a special diet, schooling, and maybe even an exercise program that's to prepare them for their service to the king. Daniel and his friends are not comfortable with the food that is being offered, and I wonder if the meat was being offered to these pagan idols or the gods of Babylon. Sometimes we are all put in positions where we're not comfortable doing what all of the people around us are doing. Although Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego were in the midst of hundreds, if not thousands of other young Jewish men who were being fed a specific diet and indoctrinated with a foreign culture's education, it's only these four that we know of that stood up and asked to be excluded from what was required of all of the others. The eunuch didn't want to get himself in trouble. He had a job to do, and Daniel respected that. But instead of drawing a line in the sand or going on a hunger strike, he diplomatically asked for an experiment of just 10 days. Let us just drink water and eat vegetables for a week and a half. If we don't look as healthy as our counterparts who are doing everything prescribed by the king, then we can reevaluate at that point. I could almost hear Daniel saying, I don't want to get you in trouble. I know that you have a job to do. With all due respect, may I please have your favor? We could all learn a lot of lessons from Daniel's diplomacy and his courage. The last verse of chapter 1 states Daniel was there until the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, and that was likely around the year 538 BC. We have these that took place over the span of almost 70 years. Certainly there were years of drudgery in between in which Daniel was praying consistently and probably feeling as though he was wasting his life. Perhaps Daniel even felt like his prayers were going nowhere much of the time. In chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar has a dream and tells all of his magicians and wise men that they must not only tell him the dream, but also interpret it, or else he's going to kill them all. Daniel wasn't even there. He was just going to be rounded up to be killed with all of the others when he decides to interject that his God is the God who gives dreams as well as interpretations of dreams. Nebuchadnezzar saw a statue with a gold head, silver chest, bronze torso, legs of iron, and feet of iron mixed with clay. While Nebuchadnezzar was watching this statue in his dream, a stone that was not formed by any hand struck the statue's feet that were made of iron and clay and shattered them. The entire statue went to pieces like chaff and was blown away, yet the stone that struck the statue became a great mountain and filled the entire earth. The different parts of the statue referred to different kingdoms. The gold head was Babylon. The silver refers to the Medes and the Persians. The bronze, Alexander the Great, who led Greece. The iron legs represent the Roman Empire, which came to power after the Greeks. And the Roman Empire crumbled from within, but it never really was replaced by another dominant world power. The mixture of iron and clay in the legs and feet of this shows the strength of that Roman Empire and its reach, but the brittle clay shows its weakness when it is smashed by the rock of Jesus Christ that becomes the new world power. The rock of Christianity, not in the religious sense, and certainly not the Roman Catholic Church or any denomination within Protestantism, but the body of spirit-filled believers in Jesus Christ will take over the entire world. This movement will become the dominant world power, and we have a job to do in advancing his kingdom, as Jesus said in Matthew chapter 16, the gates of hell would not prevail against his ecclesia. We as Christians have the responsibility of becoming more and more like him, and then claiming the territory in which he places us and advancing his kingdom in that region. In chapter 3, Nebuchadnezzar erects a gold statue as tall as a 9-story building, and he commands everyone to fall down, to prostrate themselves, and to pay homage to that statue. So when these men did not bow to the king's statue, he confronts them, threatens them with being thrown into the fiery furnace. They stand their ground, saying, "Our God is able to save us, but even if he doesn't, we will never bow down to your statue." Nebuchadnezzar is infuriated. The 3 men are thrown into the furnace. The fire was so hot that the guards who took them and threw them in perished. Yet not a hair on their head is singed. They don't even smell like smoke. Nebuchadnezzar is so impressed that he makes a new law that anyone who says anything negative about the God of Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego would be torn limb from limb, and his house made into a garbage dump. As miraculous as this story is, God doesn't always choose to save those who are being martyred for the faith. We know Jesus himself was not spared, and neither were 11 of the 12 disciples. That said, there were plenty of times that Jesus was granted invisibility, and he walked through the midst of the crowd that was trying to lynch him. We know in the book of Acts, Peter and Paul and others were delivered, set free from jail, and witnessed amazing miracles. One thing is certain: we must all be led by the Spirit. Our God is able to save us, but even if he doesn't, we will continue serving him. May God give us all the grace and the faith we need to continue serving him despite our circumstances. May we have the same great faith as these great men did, trusting in the goodness of God and not in our circumstances, not in the way we think it should work out, because perhaps the greatest faith of all is being detached from the outcome, at least in this life, knowing that our reward comes after we leave these temporary tents that we're dwelling in for a very short time in light of eternity. May God bless you, my friends. Thank you for being on this journey with me through the Word of God in 2024. We'll see you tomorrow.